I can see big problems coming, but we will solve them. I had really, really much trouble to come along here. Why haven't I taken this off? I don't know. But somehow, sometimes I have the feeling that these things are supposed to happen, because this will probably give me some things, some like inspiration or so for the future steps. Just believe in that, please. And if it then doesn't happen, then it gives you inspiration, then you had a great hope. Do you know what I mean? So the sewing is now exactly on these lines here, and that makes that on the one hand this is not so wiggly woggly anymore. It's attached here, and on the other side we have like a clear spine here, so we can see clearly where the spine is. And later on, when we have this whole thing like so, we know exactly where to attach the decoration for the spine. One problem is that here it's white, and that's because the vest has this inlay, which is this white material, and I already experienced that I can't stain it with distress ink. I've tried the lumberjack plaid distress ink and this kind of tool in the German video. That didn't work at all, because this white material can't hold the ink. It gets like pinkish or rosé, but not really red. So in the German video I have taken lumberjack plaid crayon, smeared it on here, and then I smeared it with my fingers, and that worked really nicely. But since I want to have my journals to be siblings but not twins, I'm trying to decide if I really want to use lumberjack plaid or black. I can't hear you. I was hoping that you can give me an advice, but I can't hear you. Let's try to take the archival ink black suit, and let's try this out, how it looks here on the corners. Oh, it works really, really well. Oh, that is nice. Even if I smear it a little bit, can I? I have, to be honest, I think I have never done that before, what I'm thinking now. Can I take something like this? I mean, why shouldn't that be possible? Oh, it works. Is it possible to really blend that? Oh, my finger gets hot. Ooh. Okay, I will carefully go on with that. I will put a paper towel here so that I don't accidentally smear ink, which is perhaps on my finger, to the cover. Oh, that is a good trick. Take your elbow, and that looks a little bit weird and it feels weird, but press the elbow to the fabric and then pull with the other hand like so, so that this is very straight and tight. Is that the right word? Then it's really, really easy to ink. I'm just realizing how cool it looks when the black is blended more to the middle of this section of the cover.
12 straight hours. I wanna freak my freak right now. Junk journal madness, holy cow. Tearing paper, making mess. Creative chaos, I confess. I wanna freak my freak
I have something in mind that I want to put on here. You've already heard the story about that in the paper premiere. On the one hand, this thing, or parts of this thing. And on the other hand, it's these guitar strings. I'm just trying to decide if I want to make a hole into the cover, like I did here on the other one, and add this part of the thing, that is, this thing here is just this with this plastic ring, and I have removed this part here from this burnt donut. How to decide if I want to make a hole into this journal as well, or if I want to have a hole here and a closed circle here. I said I want to make siblings but not twins, yeah, and that is, you know, hard to decide. This circle is more on the bottom because this edge is close to the bottom as well. On this one, because it's upside down compared to this edge is more on the top. Does that mean that the circle needs to go here to the top somewhere as well? Does that also mean that I will not use this, or at least this part here? Or does that mean that I will try out what I actually wanted to do with this, but I was too scared? I am going to drink a schnapps now. And then I will come back. Yeah, because I thought if I can flatten this with my iron, and then it would be no problem to put this on here, or even somehow like so. But I have no idea what happens when I take, like, you know, a baking paper and my iron, and then Day 2. I have the feeling that this will also take me 3 days, but let's stay, what is the English word? Optimistic? Is that an English word? Optimistisch in German. And let's try to do this. This is some coffee with milk and pumpkin spice syrup. Perhaps that can help. I made some decisions overnight to help me imagine how this thing could look in the end. I have put this box in here because the journal will grow, of course, after binding, so that I can imagine approximately the dimension of the spine. And then I decided that I only want to use this part and not this burnt donut here. I will save this for, I guess, a project I will then hang on my wall. I am really afraid of ironing this because I have absolutely no idea what happens to the material and especially to my health, because I guess when I put an iron on here, then there will come some steam or something, which is probably not so good for my body. So I don't want to inhale that. And to be honest, I like the look of this thing, and I can imagine having this somewhere on my wall in a little, like, for example, vignette tray or so, perhaps with 1 or 2 of the strings around, and then it's like a nice memory as well. So I'm going to save that for another project, and I will bring that out of my way so that I can't change my mind about that thing anymore. So then this thing here, I thought it can either go here to the top. The strings, probably not all of them, could then go around here like this. I like that really much, but I'm missing a contrast here somehow. And I also think that this thing is a little bit not so extremely showcased. So I thought, why don't I take a doily and put that behind? I have a short list. this could work. I really like this, especially this color, and the color of the strings looks really nice. But here's a lot of white, and also on the other journal, the contrast happened with white. So this is not white. Yeah, so I thought, perhaps that's not the best option. And it's also pretty big. Then I thought, let's take a smaller one and one which is white. This is probably a little bit better, but the doily is also relatively thick. You can't see that in the camera, but it's, you know, it's a little bit thick. I don't know if that can work, that I can sew this on with my sewing machine, if I can still come through all of the layers with my sewing machine. And then I also found this. And I think this looks really elegant, but it's also pretty big. It covers a lot of the red. Then I thought, is it really necessary to put it here to the top? Because look, the weight of this whole thing it's pressing to the top somehow, which I don't like so much. So I thought, can I perhaps manage to put this little thing here so that we see more of the red, and that this heavy thing, this decoration, is more on the bottom, so that the weight also gets more to the bottom. I mean, not the real weight, but the visual weight. And then this could go around here like so, a little bit, like, you know, wrapped a little smaller. And I think this is going to become the solution, I think. Sometimes when you make a junk journal, I guess you have to make several decisions at the same time. That's, yeah, at least something how it can work for me. So let's have this in mind. Let's take the signatures out without destroying them. And let's fold this open. Because in here there are also my labels. Because I thought, can I perhaps also include a label somehow? I have this rusty one. I got this in a Happy Mail. This is also a little bigger than my normal labels are. It's a little wider than these. It's not so high, but a little wider. But I really love this color, and especially the thing with the rust. I think I want to try to use that, and in combination with the color of the strings, that also looks really nice. But at the same time, it also covers a lot of this, doesn't it? That would also be a possibility, but I don't have a rusted one of these smaller ones. No. Can I live with that? We will see. Perhaps this is not the right position yet. For the spine, it would be on the one hand too wide, and oh, it's not possible to put it to the spine. Oh my goodness, I already noticed that in the German video, because I can't bend it. I mean, I could bend it, but I don't know I can't explain that in English, holy cow. Originally in the German video, I had put a label here before this piece was attached. And then I realized that the spine is going to be curved in the end, and that I then would need to bend the label as well, but how much? Yeah, I couldn't decide how much to bend it. And of course, the spine here will also be curved, so that's the same problem. But I think if this was like so, this is still enough of this black stuff, which we can then see there. I think I like this solution very, very much. Okay, so can I then perhaps also use these little guys to attach them, to attach that? I got this. That looks a little weird because I have cut it. This was originally on an envelope. I got a happy mail, and the person who has sent this to me has closed the envelope with these brads, and she came to the idea to make these little flowers around the brads. Look how cute that is. I mean, that is absolutely adorable. And I saved this on the one hand to use it, and on the other hand as, yeah, like an inspiration. And I thought, both are probably too much. Let's keep these here so that we have them in mind. And what do we want on the back? On the other journal, there was a little problem. This vest I have worn over several years, yeah, many years. And I have had this in my washing machine before doing what I am doing here right now. But on this material, there were here and here some problems with the material. It is clean, yeah, because it comes right from my washing machine, but there was some kind of like dirt, which is not no dirt, because of the fact that the material was a little bit destroyed. So, is that here as well? No. So that is very good, because then we are not so limited with what we can do or want to do. But I had already cut these. They are the same size like on the other journal, because I thought if I want to make like siblings, journal siblings, then it could be helpful to have the same banners here in the same size, so that I then can perhaps include these here as well. But I think I want to do it a little differently than on the other one, because they are siblings but not twins. Do you know what I mean? So perhaps like this. Ooh. Yes, I think I really like that. And I think these I want to have white, so that they match this really well. White, white. And here on the spine, on the other journal, everything is black. And on the other journal, I also covered this, which was on the other one on the top, but that doesn't matter. The thing is the same. I covered that because of some decisions, you know. But in this case, I think here it is a little different, because we have this button here. And if I imagine having something here on the spine, which is from the top to the bottom, then I would need to either cover the button, or I could somehow tear a hole so that the button can come through. That could be a possibility. Then I could do it the same. I will show you how this thing here came to life. And that's also why I have this on my arm. In the German video, and I will put the video footage from the German video in here now, so that you can see, like, you know, that you can visually understand what happened there. But you can hear me speaking English now. So I was trying to decide what to do with the spine. And I had the nylons in my hands, because the woman in the paper collection, obviously, and also in the video and in the song, she wears nylons. And that means we need nylons on the cover as well, don't we? So I thought, how can I include those, and how can I attach them to my spine of the book? And when I had them in my hands, suddenly my hand was in the nylons, and then this happened. And I like this so much. You can't believe how cool this feels. I mean, try this out. Please just try this out. And that was such a crazy moment in the other video, because suddenly I not only experienced how nice this feels and that this holds really warm, but on the other hand, I saw this. Can you see that? It's hard to film because it's so black, but can you see this? And that brought me to the idea to take a piece of little sturdier paper and try to put that on the spine with the look of this. And there then happened another thing in the German video, which I want to reconstruct here, because I want to give you my thoughts and I want to give you this feeling behind this whole journal and try to bring that to your desk and to your ears and especially to your heart. Because when I searched for a paper, and this is just a piece of green paper, isn't it? I was on my drawer where I store these little thicker papers, and they are all in there like so, and I was like feeling which one I want to take. This was bigger. This is some kind of a file folder. And then I have taken it out, and when I turned it around, I could read this. And I was like screaming, because it was, I don't believe in coincidences, but why have I taken this? Here it says Kreisorchester, and this means 1996. In here, there have been my music sheets for another kind of orchestra I have played in. So I told you, this fest I have won in an orchestra where I played the saxophone. And that was a really, like, I don't mean that bad, but it was a low-level orchestra for really traditional music regarding to like parties in the town. It's a little weird. It was not so high quality orchestra. Do you know what I mean? And then there was this Kreisorchester, that is the short form of Kreisjugendblasorchester. Holy moly, how can I explain that? And once a year, is that English? Oh, I think so. Once a year, the best players of all of the orchestras in the Kreis, that is like circle, circle. So when you live, I can't explain that. There where I lived, there's a Kreis. There are several Kreise in Germany. That means it's a bunch of cities and towns, not cities, it's a bunch of towns which belong together. And yeah, that is perhaps how I can explain that. So city number 1, city number 2, city number 3, 4, and so on. So they are all like little cities or towns, and the whole thing is the Kreis. Do you know what I mean? So this town has an orchestra, this town has an orchestra, this town has an orchestra, this town has, for example, this orchestra. And then from the several orchestras, the people come together one time a year in the Kreisorchester. And you get some music sheets with the songs you have to practice, and then there is a concert, and then it's over, yeah, and you go back to your home. This orchestra was something where I went not so happily. My parents said, go there. You know, when your parents buy you an instrument, you have to play it and you have to go there. This was the fun, and this was, yeah, what I had to do. And I remembered that there was one year where I really had fun in this Kreisorchester compared to the other years. So when I found this, I went to my shelf where I store my CDs, and I found out that the year where I had fun in the Kreisorchester was 1996. So it's this file folder where I stored my music sheet music, I don't know. And this is the CD. We played some film music. And unfortunately, I can't play the music from this CD in the video, obviously not because of copyright problems, but this is such a great memory. And it brought me goosebumps when I found this, so that I thought, okay, I need to use this, even if this needs to be black, because the nylons are translucent, obviously. So, first of all, hopefully that was not too long, what I have talked about now, but it's important to me that you also can have this feeling I have on my desk here, or I have while I'm sitting on my desk, because yeah, you are spending your time with me, together with me here, and it's really important for me that you can understand what I'm doing here and that you can get this feeling as well, even if it then sometimes takes me a little longer to explain that because English is not my mother language. This is still too wide. Holy moly. We had 9 centimeters here. We've decided to do only 8 centimeters. Is that correct? I think so. It was already yesterday when I did that, so let me quickly check that. Yeah, it's 8 centimeters. If I want to put this on here, I need to make sure that it is a little thinner than 8, that it doesn't overlap here. Do you know what I mean? Where am I here? I really have problems to read this here. But I think this is correct. No, it isn't. Wait. I will make it 2 millimeters smaller than 8. So 7.8 approximately. So that it fits in between of my sewn lines here, and that it is not too wide when a nylon is over on here. Do you know what I mean? Okay, that should fit. But the question is, let me take this as an example. The question is, do we want to have the whole thing black or only a part? Because I think it looks really nice when this is shown, this part with the red and the button. So I already thought making only this portion black, like so. Of course with the paper in it, but I don't want to cut it yet. Because when it's cut, then it's, you know, coming apart. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Do you also think that this looks good? Hopefully. So let's put this to the arm again, because otherwise I can't think so good. So well, and I want to take a piece of this. So this has to go for a moment, otherwise it drives me crazy. And of course I want to take this where this is, where this writing is. And that is weird. Do you also have those materials where you think it needs to be exactly that material, even if I will either paint it black or cover it up or whatever, but it needs to be exactly that material. Do you know that? I mean, those materials. Because this is one of these materials. I could take a black piece of paper. I have one at hand here. Then I would not need to make it black, but it has to be this piece which I use on the spine. Otherwise, I can't be happy. Because this is from the file folder that brought me this memory and this, like, you know, coincidence, which is not a coincidence. So that means we are going to take this piece. We are going to take some black acrylic paint. Quickly paint this black. And yes, the writing is gone now, but the material is still the material, and it's then included in the construction of the journal, and that makes it part of it, and that makes it special. Then that can dry, and we can take these and try to make them white. And I say try because I have no idea if this can really work. Yeah, it turns a little pinkish, can you see?
Spilled coffee on my vintage lace. Oxide spray got to my face. Cat knocked over my washi tower. I've been crafting for 12 straight hours. I wanna freak my freak right now. Junk journal madness, holy.
This drives me completely crazy, and I will definitely not go on trying this, because this is like 10 layers or so and it's still not white. Not that I'm not patient enough, but I'm afraid that if I go on with adding the acrylic paint, that it then gets so extremely soaked with the paint that it breaks in the end, or that at least the paint will break. And I will, of course, I of course want to avoid that. So I just came to the idea, since we have a coverage here with the acrylic paint, why don't I try to use some white texture paste? Because this texture paste is, when it's dry, really flexible. So perhaps I can, and shall I perhaps use a stencil? Let's see what can happen. Nothing can happen. I mean, it's then also a little bit like pinkish in between, but if I don't like this, I can just flatten the pattern, you know, and put the paste all over this thing. That looks really interesting, but I have the feeling that this will change in color. Oh, that turned out just wonderfully. These are completely dry now. And of course, how did I have that? Like so. Well, in the camera, it looks pretty white. But in reality, it's pretty red-ish. Before we decide what to do with these, let's first take this. I'm just going to take, if I can find one, a piece of a leg here from this. Cut that open. And then I put this over here, exactly like here on my wrist. I will take this then to my sewing machine, put it on here like so, but I do that on the sewing machine, and then I will sew around here so that I then have a similar look to what I have here and on the other spine. This looks a little bit funny now. Of course, this is still too long. Oh, this is one of those moments where the material obviously wants to talk to me. I have put this whole thing on here, went to my sewing machine. Oh, and what is this? Oh, that doesn't matter. I can just cut this off. And I had too much material, obviously, but to manage this, that was helpful, because then I could start here. I've just wrapped this here to the back so that I then could sew over here and along here, and while I did that, I decided how much of this I wanted to have here, and then I've just finished it off by, you know, sewing over here. And originally, when I just came back from my sewing machine, I thought I would just cut this off here like I cut it off here on the top. But now I'm thinking, what if, I mean, I want to keep this so that it is visible. If this was here, can we perhaps cut in here? Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, but that already, oh yes. Okay, let's see. Let's make this into a curve somehow, like so that this is then visible. Let's then cut in here. I mean, if this doesn't work, I can still cut it off completely, but let's see if we can. Oh no. Okay, this is not such a high quality thing, obviously. Talk to me. Okay, so that is good. I think we will leave this. We can still cut it off. If we don't like it in a few minutes anymore, then we can still cut it off. But what the heck shall we do with this?